Good afternoon, everybody. How are you doing today? Thank you for joining me on Rumble and YouTube. I hope your Monday is a good one, and I hope you had a fantastic weekend, everybody. Thank you so much to the new followers and members, and those that are coming to my channel. And I really appreciate the thumbs up and the participation in the chat. It's always good to have that. All right. So, for those that have been following the Scientology protesting and that know what's been going on, we are talking about, like you see in my title, Meghan, music, manipulation, mayhem, the four M's. So, I had a feeling in my gut for quite a while. Hey, Pippi, good to see you. I had a feeling in my gut for a while that when Audit LA was getting a permit for a protest, which was pointed out by many people. You don't need a permit. Oh shit! Hold on. Sorry about that. Okay, I guess I answered my question. I have audio. You don't need a permit to protest. However, the one thing that it is with Scientology, when they had their uh, events going on L. Ron Hubbard Way in Los Angeles, they always try to make a problem. You know, for the most part. Not everything they do is their fault, but a lot of it is. Showing permits that aren't permits, they're applications. There's a big fucking difference. Anyway, so I was wondering who's going to show up, what's going to go down, place your bets. Is it going to be peaceful? Are they going to rumble? Are they going to kick ass? What's going to happen? What's going to go down? Or was this all a front, meaning the less you speak, the better the outcome? You know, it's not always what you say, it's how you say it and who you tell. And the one thing I got a kick out of was that due to his own personal actions, that DOA Scott couldn't be there. So to me, it was like everybody came together, not just to support Order LA, because it was for Father's Day, right? It was a 1A protest, wanted it to be peaceful, but it was a big, whether you guys like him or not, it was a big fuck you middle finger to Scott. And I laughed. I was like, oh shit, out of all the people that were there, right? I'm not making fun of the Motley Crue incident from La Poubelle, but it was the Motley Crue. The land of broken toys, former Scientologists, never, people who have never been in Scientology, everybody was out there. And whether there was 13 or 1300, you know, I didn't see any bad shit go down, although I wasn't able to watch everything because I was doing my own thing. Uh, so it was peaceful. Right. So, in the mix of it all, I had heard whispers of like other people in other streams saying that there was a video that Lara's father had done. So, those that know Lara Megan Anderson, all right, LARAFM on YouTube, her father, she's been trying to get in contact with forever. As many of you can recall or didn't know, the Shrine Auditorium, New Year's Eve, Lara was trying to see if she could see her father. Now, I rarely hear her talk about her mother, but her father she talks about all the time. And at one point, there was a gentleman, and I don't know, at that time what her father looked like, but it was a moment. I got caught up in the moment. She's across the street with Angry Gay Pope and some other people, and there's a gentleman pushing a food cart in front of the line of guests going into the Shrine Auditorium, and she's like freaking out. That's my dad. That's my dad. And she's like, Dad, Dad, I love you, right? Now, for those that knew all along or, had some kind of idea what was up, but at that moment, there were a lot of people that cried. They felt bad. You saw that. So, anyway, the reason why I'm doing this today is because it's all coming together. I said many, many times, this seems way too convenient, like something's up, something's going on. And I think I was right. You may disagree with me, you may not. For me, I was like, it's ironic the timing. That's the word I'm looking for, the timing of it all. All right. Many of us that have listened to former Scientologists and have watched and listened and learned, one thing I've always argued that I think the former Scientologists are teaching people in general, whether it's been for years or just recently, those that are tuning in to Scientology itself. And the bottom line is there are they succeeded in doing indie Scientology, meaning they're independent. They gave you pretty much free lessons on how to be a Scientologist, the ins and out of it all. If you step back and think about it, the verbiage, the bridge, both sides, right? You hear me talking about it. The classes they do, the things they put you through, the sauna, right? To use simpler terms. And I was like, this isn't really educating us anymore of what people have gone through. It's educating us on Scientology. So were we all being duped into learning Scientology? Prime example, there's one everybody knows that's saying, oh, they're trying to dead agent me. They're trying to dead agent me. It's like, and now with a certain former Scientologist that just joined his bandwagon, I'm seeing it more and more. Instead of giving constructive criticism in the chat, it's the Scientology verbiage. How much longer are they going to use that fucking excuse? How much longer? Oh, well, hey, listen, when former Scientologists use that lingo amongst themselves, that's a given. But, for people who don't or haven't been in Scientology, I mean, come on. Scientology is known for putting out videos. It's nothing new. They've been doing it for years. Now, there's only three sides to the story: his side, her side, and the truth. A lot of us have been told that Scientology will make videos talking bad about former Scientologists. They're troublemakers, they're shit starters, they're degraded beings, they're horrible people, right? However, there might be a small bit of truth, not in every single video, but in some. Some of it can be truth. But again, Scientology protects its own people, so of course they're going to, make it seem like, hey, they didn't use Scientology properly. So, getting back to it, Lara's father, Phil Anderson, the video that was talked about, I got the link. Maybe plenty of you seen the video already. Maybe some of you did not. Okay. But here's what I'm going to do. For those that didn't get to see it all the way, we're going to check it out. For those that didn't get to see it completely or at all, the links are in the chat, in the description, but we're going to go over it. Let's hear what he has to say.
I'm Phil Anderson, and I'm the father of Laura Meghan Anderson. Lara was born in the United States. She is an American citizen, and it's kind of ironic because we're Canadians, and so she's the one in our family that was an American citizen. And she was raised in LA here, and then she went to a private school within the church. The school that she went to, I can compare it to even to my upbringing. I mean, I went to a private school myself, lived there. I was on a lake, and we had all kinds of activities. And the thing I liked about where Meghan went to school was similar, if not better, because it was like a ranch setup. There were animals there, there were horses. There was like fields, space, and yeah, it was drug free, it was bully free. It was like the situations that were going on with educational facilities within America, around the world, was a little bit alarming to me as a parent. And I knew that in that situation that she was free of those things and allowed to just express herself and how she wanted to do it. And she was able to participate like in horseback riding. She became pretty good at that. I mean, we even talked to this one about her getting animals. And she asked me when she was like about 8 years old that she wanted to get a goat. I mean, okay, Dad, you've got the responsibility to come with a goat. We drove to a farm. We found, that it had little baby goats, and we got her a goat. And so we dedicated time, like on the weekends, was exclusively for her. And like we could do different events, horseback riding or whatever. We could.
Now, a lot of us have heard the sob stories, the sad stories about how they were supposed to see their parents on the weekend, talking about the ranch up in Gilman Hot Springs, Golden Air Productions, right up there. So, from what I've seen from all the years, right, it's like all open spaces. And when you came down that driveway, it said, the ranch's name on it. So that sounds legit. But let's listen a little bit more.
Go for walks. It was an environment that we could do that together. And I tried to open up for her. So if she was interested in music and she was interested in that, we'd fool around on that. One time, like, I got a keyboard and brought it home so that she could just, fool around on the piano. I think there was like, at the school that she was at, she had the access to music there, and it became a big purpose line for her. She wanted to excel in that as well, which was I was happy for that because I love music too. And we used to share different stories about music and whatnot. The school offered many different types of field trips. Usually like once a month they were going either like to a local farm, they were going to different events, like there was like, some movies or shows that they would go to. I mean, one time they even went to a ship.
Now, talking about going to movies, we heard some of the former Scientologists say, yeah, we were going to the movies, but it was like Tom Cruise with the Top Gun. How many of us have heard that story where it's like they would constantly go see Top Gun because Tom Cruise is the cream of the crop, the biggest Scientologist ever. And when Mr. Anderson here is talking about the ship, I don't know per se if he's meaning the Free Wind ship or the ship was that Gold Base or something that was in Tampa, Florida or Clearwater, Florida. I don't know.
That was like completely where they got to learn how to, it was a big ship, within, like the full oceanic type ship, and spent a couple of days on it, learning how it works and how to run a ship, like what school offers that kind of thing, and she went on that.
Well, I could tell you one thing from what we've learned. The Sea Org, I mean, the name in itself says it, right? The Sea Org. You have the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, and the Sea Scouts. They have the Sea Org. It makes sense. I mean, Hubbard was on the ship, right? See how much they teaching us. So it wasn't like summer camp. I mean, it was Scientology.
My overview of her and her childhood was that it was an active childhood for her. She wasn't sitting back and bored and uninspired and not being, not participating. On the contrary, she was involved. There was a point where at the
Right there, Mr. Anderson made a slip. Now we all slip sometimes. We misspeak, but right there, he was talking. He was going to say ranch, and then he changed it and said school. Let me backtrack just a bit here.
offers that kind of thing, and she went on that. My overview of her and her childhood was that it was an active childhood for her. She wasn't sitting back and bored and uninspired and not being, not participating. On the contrary, she was involved. There was a point where at the school there was it was time for the graduate.
See, right there. He was going to say there was a time at the ranch and then the school, there was a time to graduate. So that adds up where the former Scientologists were saying when they're kids, they graduated from the cadet org to the Sea org. It's a Scientology school. So that lines up.
And so she was given a choice to what she wanted to do in terms of she could stay in Los Angeles. There was another facility that was in Florida where she could go to and take on a position there. And she decided that she wanted to do that, which was great because I was excited about it. So was her mother. And so Meghan went to Florida. And she started off by doing positions, advanced in it. She ran into some difficulties while she was there in terms of, from what I understand, was her own just sort of integrity and honesty that kind of bit her a little bit, and then it started to descend in terms of her relationship with individuals there. A lot of work, and she started off by doing positions, advanced in it. She ran into some difficulties while she was there in terms of, from what I understand, was her own just sort of integrity and honesty that kind of bit her a little bit, and then it started to descend in terms of her relationship with individuals there. A lot of work was done to try to assist and help her to come to, I would say, just a better confront of what she was doing. Unfortunately,
Okay, so of course, Scientology, they use their words. They don't always say, they have their code words, their keywords that they learn to confront.
it didn't result in, for her, an understanding, and she decided that at that point that she wanted to leave the Sea organization. And I mean, again, I brought her up on the whole occasion that Meghan was going to decide her own life. I'm not. I'm here to offer some choices. And so when she decided that she wanted to, it was more that what she communicated to me, that she wanted to pursue the musical aspect of her life.
And right there, let me go back again.
Standing, and she decided that at that point that she wanted to leave the Sea organization. And I mean, again, I brought her up on the whole occasion that Meghan was going to decide her own life.
Okay, so he's presenting himself as a father being free, saying, you can make your own decisions, I'll be there. You can make your own choices, I'll be there. And a lot of people joke and say, look, Scientology, they have Xenu eyes, they're like a zombie. But my gathering here is that Mr. Phil Anderson is not a zombie. It doesn't look as scripted like some of the other Scientology videos that we've seen, where they just look totally like blase. I have it in the description, Blink. Thank you for joining, everybody.
I'm not. I'm here to offer some choices. And so when she decided that she wanted to, it was more that what she communicated to me, that she wanted to pursue the musical aspect of her life. I knew that was a strong purpose for her. So I wasn't. I was like all the best to her, and I was, look, I'm going to help you and support you in whatever way I can. Uh, we were in regular communication. I would think, like, every week she would update me on, what she was doing. She, produced, a CD. There was a couple of shows that she did locally that I immediately took the time to go see her. A little bit of odd scheduling, but still made it happen. And I was there, the dad in the middle of the middle of the crowd of young kids, and who's like, who is that?
So if Scientology is so awful, okay, I'm just doing the pros and cons, so bear with me. The way Mr. Anderson is presenting this, Scientology didn't have a leash on him. He went to the shows and he was being a supportive father.
That guy. Well, that's my dad. She would say it's like scheduling, but still made it happen. And I was there, the dad in the middle of the middle of the crowd of young kids, and who's like, who is that guy? Well, that's my dad. She was.
Or instead of perceiving it as her father was supportive and like, yeah, I'm going to my daughter's show, is this a way of Scientology manipulating people, saying, listen, we don't like where your daughter's performing, but go keep an eye on her? Or was it a combination of both? Being a good dad and spying on her at the same time.
Say it's like, so that was kind of like our relationship at that time, and I tried to keep it that way. I went to Palm Springs to see her a couple times there, and yeah, there's just like all along the way, just trying to just encourage her to keep her going, because I know that industry is can be rough. She seemed to make a connection with a company in New York that was going to produce her CD, and she was just like bubbly and foamy, and told me she was so excited. She was flying out to New York to do this, and I thought, oh, this is awesome. Just keep me, She would email me and call me from New York while she was there. It turns out that, and this is what she's communicated and told me, that this company was dishonest, and they wrote into the agreement, whatever contract that she made with them, uh, somehow like manipulated the rights to her songs. Ended up, instead of her making royalties off of it, she owed them money, and that was like a major punch. I mean, like she had a lot of pride and a lot of like she wasn't going to let it show, because I could see that in her. But I mean, I just felt it just for her. I mean, I knew that particular point was rough, and then at that point things started to decay.
Okay, so we're going to stop right there. All right. Welcome in, everybody, if you're just joining. Lara's music. Now, LARAFM is on YouTube, as most of you know. When people get in pissing matches that used to be friends or friendly or close or good acquaintances, it's all good. Lara has said numerous times, you can play my music, you can use my music, right? However, once people started falling out, then the copyright strikes came into play. Copyrighted music. People will play Lara's music, which Cher did it when she did that chalking in front of Scientology, and she was talking about using Lara's music, right? So here's what I'm thinking. With what Mr. Anderson said, that Lara went to New York, she was all excited to sign a record deal, and the New York record company scammed her or were dishonest, or whatever word you want to use, whatever word Mr. Anderson used. You could say it was failure, that on Lara's fault, on Meghan's fault, it was failure to read the contract, or it was failure to understand the contract, and it would explain her behavior. Doesn't excuse her behavior, but it would explain it. So in retrospect, she doesn't own the music. The company owns the music. So it's not hers to copyright strike. And it would also make sense that she's telling people to, yes, use her music, because if eventually you buy her music, that is a way to pay back the record label company. Because you heard Mr. Anderson say she wasn't going to make royalties. It turns out that Meghan had to pay. Right? Am I crazy? I'm not crazy. Let me go back. Let me just double check.
She started to. I mean, I dishonor this, and I thought, oh, this is awesome. Just keep. And yeah, there's just like all along the way, just trying to just encourage her to keep her going, because I know that industry is can be rough. She seemed to make a connection with a company in New York that was going to produce her CD, and she was just like bubbly and foamy, and told me she was so excited. And she was flying out to New York to do this, and I thought, oh, this is awesome. Just keep me, She would email me and call me from New York while she was there. It turns out that, and this is what she's communicated and told me, that this company was dishonest, and they wrote into the agreement, whatever contract that she made with them, somehow like manipulated the rights to her songs. Ended up, instead of her making royalties off of it, she owed them money, and that was like a major punch. I mean, like she somehow like manipulated the rights to her songs. Ended up, instead of her making royalties off of it, she owed them money, and
So how in the world can somebody copyright strike you for their music that isn't theirs? And again, When you have a dream of becoming a musician and famous and stuff, you know, okay, so the Sea Org has you sign a contract at like 9, 10, 11, 12 years old to join the Sea Org for 1 billion years, which doesn't exist. And that's okay. But you go as an adult to New York to sign a record deal. And again, probably the excitement. I'm not shitting on the dream. I'm just pointing it out. That you go to New York, you fly there, you sign a record deal, your failure to read it and or understand the contract, how can you copyright people on any platform for your music that isn't yours? But yet it was good enough to use that money, or excuse me, to allow people to use your music so that if they were to purchase it, that would help pay back the money to the record company. Does that make sense? And when somebody shatters your dream, it's a terrible thing. Some people would fly off the handle, understandably so. It's like you go there, you're so excited, right? It's like finally my big break, and then to have it shit on you. And I don't know if she got an attorney, but I'm like I said, it's just ironic of the timing of everything. Because I don't know if this Scientology interview looks Scientology to me. If Mr. Anderson is an older person and he just looks well preserved, this video came out what, the day before the Father's Day protest? Were they working on this to have it ready to make Meghan look stupid? Is part of this, what Mr. Anderson is saying true? Or is it false, or a little bit of both? How many things is Meghan going to get away with bad behavior and blame it on Scientology and the cult?
And that was like a major punch. I mean, like she had a lot of pride and a lot of like she wasn't going to let it show because I could see that in her. But I mean, I just felt it just for her. I mean, I knew that particular point was rough. And then at that point, things started to decay. She started to hang out with individuals that I could just see weren't as productive and as let's just say in her same category. They were getting too much into the partying, too much into the extracurricular, the drugs, this, that. This is descended down into a rough, wrong road. And I kept, trying to direct her attention to that, to tell her that, this is not the way to go on this particular thing. This started to interfere with our relationship. It was like, I found that, the things I was trying to tell her just were like being kicked back versus any kind of like understanding or, Meghan was going, yeah, Dad, thanks for telling me that. It was more like, yeah. There was a distinct time where there was individuals that were overtly telling me that, hey, you shouldn't be trying to talk to your daughter. And I was going, I'm her father. I don't know.
And that right there is his way when he cleared his throat right before that. I want to get the words right. So, yeah, her dad's telling her his advice, whether it's a father's advice or Scientology's advice. And she's like, yeah, thanks, Dad. But no, it's more like, yeah, what kids do, right? Let me just mute this right here. So she's yamming her father to death. And then he says here, there was a distinct time.
Individuals that were overtly telling me that.
This part right here. There were individuals that were, excuse me, there were individuals that were overtly telling me. So that's Scientology verbiage right there. That tells me that the Scientologists were telling Mr. Anderson what to say, how to handle your daughter, how to go about it. You follow me on that? Because what father talks like that? That was Scientology telling him, to talk to your daughter. That's just me.
That, hey, you shouldn't be trying to talk to your daughter. And I was going, I'm her father. I don't know who you are, but I'm her father, and I've every right to speak to her. And you can kind of step aside because I want to hear it from her that she.
Okay, so maybe then, with that being said, Scientology's telling Mr. Anderson Meghan is a lost cause. Stay the fuck away from her. And then he's like, who are you to tell me that's my kid? You know, don't tell me what to do. Or is he trying to make himself look like the good guy here? Again, Scientology videos are tricky. They want to fuck with your head. You have this side over here, you have that side over there, and in the middle, there's the truth.
She does not want to speak to me. And we're like, yeah. There was a distinct time where there was individuals that were overtly telling me that, hey, you shouldn't be trying to talk to your daughter. And I was going, I'm her father. I don't know who you are, but I'm her father, and I have every right to speak to her. And you can kind of step aside because I want to hear it from her that she does not want to speak to me. And so I finally got at least to that point where we seemingly were going to agree to have a talk that was not going to be interfered with other individuals, and then we just have a father to daughter discussion. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. And then a day went by, and it was no answer to the calls, no answer to any of my texts or emails. And then the following day, I received an email from her, and she decided that she didn't want to speak to me anymore and wrote me an official communication that said that. And I was like, unfortunately, that happened.
Okay, so again, Scientology verbiage. She sent me an official communication. So that's the documentation of one Scientologist to another. All right, we've learned that from hearing all the verbiage from the former Scientologists. And he said her saying, what was it?
And then the following day, I received an email from her, and she decided that she didn't want to speak to me anymore and wrote me an official communication that said that. And I was like, unfortunately, that happened. In Meghan's letter.
Okay, so right there in plain old English, he's saying that in her Scientology for official communication that she was done with him. So she wrote him off.
Letter to me was completely her origination. It was 100% her decision to cut the communication, and knowingly that she would also then cut the communication with her mother and with her sister and her brother too, just because the extreme of what she was saying. So that was her doing. That was definitely not me or anybody else. I mean, as I said, I was like open from the day one to try to open and offer the help any way I could. She didn't take it, and she's now gone in a way of trying to even, well, literally destroy that help. And that's not going to help any type of relationship.
And the thing of it is that, again, was this video just made recently? Was this made years ago and then brought out of the archives or whatever? Or, when they heard that there was going to be the Father's Day protest on L. Ron Hubbard Way in Los Angeles, we're like, oh, we got to get this ready. We got to put this in before Meghan gets started. But when Mr. Anderson was talking about the downfall of Meghan, her behavior, all right, again, you can't keep using the excuse of you were born and raised in Scientology and they fucked with your head. Enough is enough. And when she was having bad behavior, was that per se during the time she was partying and hanging out with Danny Masterson? I've said it before and I'll say it again. Scientology or not, you're a fucking woman. And no means no. If you see another former Scientologist or any man or woman sexually abusing or assaulting or raping somebody, you don't have the fucking common sense to call the cops? You don't have the common sense even that night when you leave a party or the next day and be like, oh my God? Or is it the typical, I don't give a shit until it happens to me? How many times have we saw or heard the interviews of Lara saying, oh yeah, Danny Masterson, we used to party and hang out and do all kinds of crazy shit. And he lent me $500 twice, once, twice. It's like you're bragging about it. Is it the Holly weird? What is wrong with these people? What is wrong with them? They are fucking mental. I'm reading the chat. Well, they have plenty of pictures of the when they were kids at the ranch. I mean, they've all showed it. Welcome in, everybody. Hit the like. It'd be greatly appreciated. My links are pinned in the chat. Thank you. All right, let's continue. Well, it's just about done, but let me finish this.
uh, just because the extreme of what she was saying. So that was her doing. That was definitely not me or anybody else. I mean, as I said, I was like open from the day one to try to open and offer the help any way I could. She didn't take it, and she's now gone in a way of trying to even, well, literally destroy that help. And that's not going to help any type of relationship.
All right, so was that a fatherly relationship? One Scientologist to another to keep them in check? Or a little of both? Here's the thing, we don't know for the fact, but if people weren't lying so much, that is the problem. I mean, you don't have to be a former Scientologist to have a shitty childhood. You're not the only fucking one. There are many children in this country, and you could ask any one of them now that they're adults, how was your childhood? You know, of course, you say it, ask respectfully. But when people lie all the time, or they take, say, for example, they take something that's really bad and it's the truth, right? But they expand on it and expand on it and expand on it and keep going and going and going, then it's no longer the truth that's a lie. And it's for their benefit. So when there are good people out in the world that are telling the truth about their Scientology stories, is it any wonder people are like, well, is that true? They were born, the form, not me saying this, the former Scientologists have said it all the time. They taught us how to lie. They taught us how to lie. And then you got the old adage, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. Like I said, there have been former Scientologists that have showed pictures of, like, them in their uniforms and stuff like that. There have been stories where they escaped Scientology and they left everything behind. They just had the clothes on their back. Then you have stories of people that got caught and they had all their pictures in there and they were taken and ripped up or, kept. Who the fuck knows? I'm just sick of the lies. I'm sick of the lies. I'm sick of the victim card. For those that never heard me say it, if Scientology is so fucking bad, why do the majority of former Scientologists live right near orgs, Scientology big buildings, or the missions? They're not, I mean, they have a lot of things that they're doing, but it's not like a Walmart or a Wawa. Like you can't swing a bat without hitting a Walmart or some shit. It's on every corner. You know where the locations are. You guys were the former Scientologists. Why would you want to live near it if it's so horrible? Excuse me. And once you become 18, if you have done if you have or are doing shit to others that was done to you when you were a child or a minor or a toddler, then you're no longer the victim. You are just as guilty. Some of them have said, well, we go to therapy. I've been in therapy. Well, obviously, it ain't working. Just because you have a therapist doesn't mean it's the right one. Shop around. You have two foundations. You have the Aftermath Foundation. I know they changed the name, but most of us know it's the Aftermath Foundation. And you have the SPTV Foundation, right? So you have two different foundations that help former Scientologists, whether they've been out or they help them get out. Then you also have the ones that cry and just are pathetic, saying, well, we don't know any better because we didn't get to go to school or we didn't do this or we didn't do that. Really? Then how is it that you have jobs, you have insurance, you have an education, whether it's a what's that? It's not a diploma, it's a GED. You're not helpless. How is it that you're doing all these things? If you have a good job and you have insurance, there you go. So if you can't get help from the foundations but you have insurance, there you go. Now, the other thing we're going to take a look at, I have it all queued up, which is also in the description, is the movie that a lot of people know about, whether you're a former Scientologist or not. It's called Over the Rainbow. Now, this movie has been talked about, or documentary, whichever you'd like to call it. It's been talked about for many years. And just like any production, they can twist and turn things and manipulate it to their advantage. They can make others look better. Some people, they can make them look worse. But the part that's queued up has to do with Meghan. Now, you just heard Meghan's father, Meghan meaning LARAFM. You just heard Mr. Anderson speak. Now we're going to take a look at Over the Rainbow with Lara's part. Let's go.
They put me in the ethics division. It's like the scary division. because they are the ones who put your ethics in if you are doing anything that's not okay. For example, and this comes up a lot, it would come up all the time, was masturbating. Older men and women that would have to come in, and I would have to write them a program and an ethics program to fix whatever, based off of their overts and withholds that they've written. Once they get a floating needle, then you go and handle those overts. So I would write a program for them to fix these things that they did. And I wasn't very experienced in the whole masturbating thing, because that was obviously not allowed in my whole childhood and whatever. So I was just kind of all I knew to do was tell them they had to read this policy, and it was about what happens when you masturbate and what's going on in your reactive mind and things like that. So I was like, you need to read that and fully understand it. Which, by the way, if you see in any organization where this policy letter is in, the book is completely stained, from so many people having to reread that policy letter because there's so much masturbation going on.
Okay, so right here, this is the flag building. This is the Mecca of Scientology in Clearwater, Florida. Those that do not know of it, this is the elite, the top of the top, the cream of the crop. David Miscavige, Tom Cruise, John Travolta, and all the higher ups in Scientology Sea Org. The Fort Harrison Hotel, there's what they call, well, it actually is a bridge. It connects the two buildings so that they can get there quicker or they're not seen, whatever the case may be. And I believe that's one of Scientology's buses that they have their own fleet of buses that transports them from building to building and where they sleep. This is where this is the back end of the Scientology building, of the flag building. And for those that heard me talk about it in one of my live streams, this is where in the 80s, see all these uniforms right here? There were thousands. I mean, all over the place. It was like cockroaches when you turn a light on, they came out of everywhere. And I'm like, what the hell is that? That's not Catholic school. And I was told, don't look at them, don't ever talk to them. It's a cult, it's Scientology. And I was like, holy shit. This driving by this, it was on vacation, Clearwater Beach is right near here. And passing by the in between the Fort Harrison and the flag building, I was like, what the fuck? They were all over the place. And I never let that out of my mind. I was like, I ain't having any of this shit.
My dad got in trouble, didn't do his job properly or something. He was on the rehabilitation project force for about 8 years. So I didn't see him the whole time during that.
All right. You just heard her say, my dad was on the RPF, and she hadn't seen him for years, right? Am I mistaken?
Properly or something. My dad got in trouble, didn't do his job properly or something. He was on the rehabilitation project force for about 8 years.
Oh, sorry about that. So she said her dad was in the RPF for 8 years. Okay. This Over the Rainbow was done in 2019. So it's been 6 years, right, since this movie or documentary was made. The thing of it is Lara told us when she was at the shrine that her father was in the RPF. At Big Blue, she kept saying her dad's in trouble. He's in the galley. He's please, get my dad. How long can one be in trouble? I'm just saying.
So I didn't see him the whole time during that. It's work, 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 study, 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 auditing, sleep, get up, work, 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 nonstop. Sometimes I actually would see him running by and I would be like, Dad! And he'd be like, oh, and he'd be like, hey, it's my daughter, kind of just, can I get away? And they run everywhere they go. So it was just magical. I'd drive by and see my dad running around the corner. And so we'd be, oh, hi, hug each other.
But didn't her father just say that Meghan cut off all communications with him? She wrote an email and an official document. You heard that, right? So there's Clearwater in its glory.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Weird number.
Yeah, well, it's an office. It's not off. It's an empty office. Weird number.
Oh, okay. Empty office, weird number.
Yeah. Okay, so are you ready to receive some calm and receive it?
Yeah.
Okay. So need to receive some calm and receive it?
Yeah.
Okay. So look, here's the thing. Like I'm like torqued. Okay. I'm upset right now. I'm going to restrain a lot of things that I have to say. I'm not even going to get into that. Here's my simple upset. Okay. You just need to come in and see the ethics officer and sort out your originations and your viewpoints. That's the right thing.
I don't have any originations or viewpoints.
Okay.
I don't even want to talk about it.
That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. So you will be contacted and you will be asked to do that.
I understand why there is an upset. I understand, and this is what I said. I spoke to the person because I needed to know. I found out what their disagreement was, and I understand why the organization isn't okay with it and why they violated whatever their agreement was to the organization. And you wrote a report on me saying I contacted a suppressive person.
That's right.
So anyways, all that makes me feel is that I tried to have a really close conversation with my father, and that close conversation turned into a Sea Org member.
See, what you just said is pretty vile, okay? Pretty vile.
Vile? Why?
Below the belt.
What's below the belt?
So many things have been said and done. You heard Meghan's father talking how it went down. And then you're hearing Meghan's version of what's going on. I believe that, again, it doesn't excuse bad behavior. When the record deal was dishonest for whatever reason, that maybe that pushed her over the edge. And she started acting out, if you will, bad behavior, partying, going to the nightclubs. I mean, Hollywood is whacked out. But it's the way that Meghan is making everybody feel. The way, let me just say, the way LARAFM is making everybody feel. Who is telling the truth? Who is the better liar? Let alone her behavior in the past 2 years that we've seen is off the chain. She is a disrespectful, spoiled, entitled brat who has no comprehension at all, or at least giving a damn about respecting others. It's always me, 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 her. I mean, look at the way she treated Audit LA. Look at the way she treats people. If you're a live streamer, she always got to jump in. Hi, chat. Hi, chat. It's not all about you. It's not. And I had questioned. All right, I'm not a lawyer or any shit like that, right? But here's the thing. I don't care if it's a documentary or a movie. Correct me if I'm wrong, but usually you have to sign contracts. California and Florida is a two-party state where you have to have knowledge and consent to be recorded. With that being said, when this documentary movie was done, was this also like a deception of Lara's father? Like, did he know he was being recorded on the documentary? Did he sign a contract knowing that he was going to be, recorded on this, let alone on speakerphone? Did he find out later and was he pissed off? I mean, you can hear the tone in both their voices in the conversation.
What do you
Because
mean?
it's condescending and that
Is I contacted a suppressive person.
that's right.
So anyways, all that makes me feel is that I tried to have a really close conversation with my father, and that close conversation turned into a Sea Org member.
See, that what you just said is pretty vile. Okay, pretty vile.
Vile? Why?
Below the belt.
What's below the belt? What do you
Because
mean?
it's condescending and degrading. Okay.
What's condescending?
I can't have a conversation with my father. I have a conversation with a Sea Org member. It's vile and condescending and
Wait,
foul.
hold on. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
I'm willing to have that type of calm.
I didn't say that. I said I was trying to have a conversation. I was trying to talk to you as you being my father and I'm your daughter. I was bringing up upsets I had talked to you about the ranch, and then that somehow turned into a report. I didn't say that you became a Sea Org member and you weren't my father. I'm saying I was trying to have a father relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And that made it just felt that when the report that I'm calling in on was written by you, it's just all that sincerity that I wanted to have with you feels like you didn't duplicate any of it.
I obviously love you dearly as my daughter, and you know that. Look, your life is your life. What you do with your life is up to you. You know, you're a being. You're a spiritual being. You're not just like a one lifetime person. So we happen this lifetime to be a father-daughter little kind of game going. But you've been parent, and you've been a daughter and a son, and all kinds. Whether it's real to you or not, the point is that is the isness of it.
So what Lara's father is saying is that Scientology believes you're a spiritual being. So you've lived many lifetimes. They say they've taught everybody that when you're a child, when you're a minor, when you're an infant, you're a adult in a little body. So he's telling her, you already know all this shit. You know what you can do. Just the fact that in this world you're calling me dad and you're my daughter is just, there's no bond, there's no meat to it. It's just a title. It's not like us, if we had a kid and we would do anything for our child. If that makes sense.
Okay?
Wait,
So-
what? I didn't get that last part.
I just said that is the reality of it. That's all. It's just the way that it is. So where do we go from here?
I don't know. I don't know, Dad. I mean,
You need to. All we need to do is that you need to take responsibility for one's actions and one's decisions. Like, that's all I can tell you. I'm
Right.
willing to take responsibility at my end. I need you to take responsibility at your end. You're the one that's now stating you're not going to abide by the church policy or the agreements of the church.
yeah,
Okay, that's your decision.
great.
And so there's some consequences that go with that.
What are what?
Well, you need to read them.
Why do I need to read them?
Because if it's true for you, it's true for you. So right here, she's setting him up. It's like, I got you, motherfucker. That's my interpretation of it. She wants him to say it out loud, even though she knows the answer. You remember how they told us, oh, it's what's Scientology? Oh, read a book, buy a book. Even Kirstie Alley, when she was alive, she was on a reality show with rich and famous, or not necessarily rich, but famous people. And this person that had major plastic surgery that looked like, I mean, didn't even look like a human, with a foreign accent, said, you know, what is Scientology? And it wasn't being a dick about it. It was being very pleasant, very polite, very respectful of Kirstie Alley's religion, so-called religion, and asked about it. And she's like, just like anything else, if you're curious about it, buy a book, read on this, read on that. But we've always said, what's the problem? If I go to a temple and I ask the rabbi, what is Judaism? They're going to teach me. If I go to a Christian or Catholic church, what is it all about? Here's a free Bible. They'll sit down, they'll talk to you about it. But this shit's a game. That's all it is. It's a fucking game. So she set him up right there. Watch.
I need you to take responsibility at your end. You're the one that's now stating you're not going to abide by the church policy or the agreements of the church.
Yeah,
Okay, that's your decision.
great.
And so there's some consequences that go with that.
What are what?
Well, you need to read them.
Why do I need to read them? I know I need to read them again so I can be threatened. Like, hey, your dad has to go.
Stop that. Just stop those barbs.
What
okay?
barbs? Threaten? That's a barb for you. Threaten? Yeah, you're threatening me. You are threatening me, Dad. You're saying there's policies, and if you don't do them, then we're gonna have to take further action. That is threatening me.
Okay,
I would. You know what? You know how fucked up this conversation is. I would never treat my daughter like this. When I have a baby, I'm gonna be. I mean, I hate it so much that it's like unbelievable. In the same way that you think I won't do it, it's so insane to me that you can't remember that you had me in this world. This is not your life. This is my life.
That's right. It is your life.
So where is your line of going, you know what? My daughter is allowed to do and be whatever she wants. She doesn't have to do, and nobody has to do anything in their lives.
I got it. My answer to you is this. You need to come in and see the ethics officer. Okay? You just need to do that. And I'm never going to change that particular point because you need to do that.
Now, see where I was saying who's telling the truth, who's lying? Again, revert back to Phil Anderson's video we just watched. He's saying nobody's going to tell me not to talk to my daughter. Nobody's going to tell me to do that. So was that for real or for show or for both? But this conversation right here is a little bit of father-daughter and then bringing in the Scientology. You know the policies. You know this, you know that. But again, I'm wondering, and it may be something to you. It may be nothing to you guys that are, lurking or here in my chat. But by law, between the phone call and the documentary, he had to have known what was being said and done and recorded at that time. And if he didn't, maybe that's what it was. It wasn't just her bad behavior hanging out with other Scientologists and partying her ass off. Okay, her words, not mine. She was having a good old time. He didn't like it, but whatever. But then again, when she had concerts and shows and stuff, he was like, "Oh yeah, it's like I'm hanging out. I'm hanging out watching my daughter." And these people are like, "Who is that?" And Lara's like, "It's my dad." So what the fuck? It's this whole thing is a mind fuck. You guys let me know what you think in the chat.
L. Ron Hubbard considered Earth to be a prison planet, a hellhole prison planet. You keep having worse and worse lives, and you go down a spiral. And you keep getting worse and worse until soon you can't have a body and you become a rock.
And we'll leave it at there. That man that was just talking, for those that don't know, that's Jeffrey Augustine, who is married to Karen de la Carriere, who has been a longtime Scientologist and possibly now, and has been for a while, an independent Scientologist. This is my take on it. There are hardcore, just like in any religion, there are hardcore Scientologists, there's independent Scientologists, and those that either dabble or could give a damn about it. Throughout the years, the more and more I see and the more and more I hear, it's looking like the former Scientologists are not so former, because they can't get Scientology out of their head. And what do on their live streams? They educate us. They use the lingo. How many of you listening now or on the replay or in the chat or lurking know the majority of the words? The difference between us and them is that they had to pay for it financially. We just sat back and listened for free. Or did we? This whole live stream was to focus on Lara. Not because she's a rock star, but because of the way she talks to people, her behavior, what she's been telling us about her family and her dad, how she was treated as a kid, and most importantly, who's telling the truth and who's lying. We don't know everything that went on behind closed doors except them. But the behavior and the way you treat people, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. A rock star that doesn't know how to sign a contract. Well, let's be clear, Pippi. It depends on what kind of contract. A Sea Org contract? Yes. A music contract? No. Chris on the drums, good to see you. Yeah, I brought that up, Chris. It's always good to see you, Chris. I need more coffee. Guys, if you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up. Definitely make sure you're subscribed and you're following me. Get a membership or gift one. If you want a Rumble rant, have at it. And definitely, it's always needed and appreciated. Believe that. When I say it's definitely appreciated. My links of Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App are pinned in the chat. But see, Chris, what with what you just said, like I said, I mentioned that earlier. I don't know if you're just jumping on the live stream, but we have been taught the lingo. I refuse to go by it because I'm not a fucking Scientologist. Never was, never will be. Thank you. You know what I mean? Wait, hold on a second. I'll be right back. Gotta get coffee. Hold on. All right. Thanks for hanging in there, guys. I'm back. So, and there is a lot to be said. Nobody asked to go out and protest against Scientology, okay? But I will say this, there are a lot of ungrateful son of a bitches out there that have that attitude, well, we didn't ask you to do it. Well, in a way, inadvertently, you kind of did because you made it seem so horrific to so many people, yet you guys still keep talking about this shit. Again, was Phil Anderson duped into that that phone call, or did he know it was going down? Did he sign a contract for the documentary? Lara's attitude and behavior is, listen, nobody's perfect. I've said it a million times. You guys heard me say it. I am far from perfect. I don't know it all. But I'll be damned if I'm going to be disrespectful and a rude motherfucker and act like an entitled bitch when somebody's trying to help me. Do sometimes I say things with an attitude and strong and I'm pissed off? Yeah, but that's how I roll. Doesn't always mean I mean it. I wanted to ask a lot of questions with the Father's Day protest at the Big Blue. However, not everybody was paying attention to their chat, so it wasn't really worth it. I'm not going to sit there and put questions in the chat when they're not paying attention to it. I mean, think about it. Go back to my live streams, go back to my videos. You'll see it just doesn't add up. Again, The more and more I watch and listen, Scientologies that are in, then you have the people that left or were kicked out. You have the people that cry victim, but then when they turned of legal age, they turned around and did the same shit. They're no longer a victim. How many of the former Scientologists that did auditing as a young child or they were audited when they turned 18, did they, when they saw a kid walk in the door to audit them, did they turn around and say stop? Did they turn around and say, no, we're not doing this? Did they see other auditors auditing minors and children? Did they stop the sessions? Did they finally take a stand? No. There's no excuse for it. There isn't. Because if you have a soul, if you have a brain, if you have a shred of humanity or decency in you, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to know there's something wrong. Yeah. Pippi, this is about Lara, but yes, I did. This is about her because she is the rock star. I'm just sick and tired of her getting a pass on her attitude, her behavior, and you guys know I don't have a problem with conversations and discussions in my chat. I love it. I'm here for it. But the focus is on this one right now. You know what I mean? So when it's not a set topic, I'm all over it. I'm all about it. But you see the title: Meghan, Music, Manipulation, and Mayhem. That contract that was she was duped in. Northern Lights, good to see you. Welcome in. Hey Riddle, what's up? How you doing? How you doing? You know, that could throw any. Again, I'm not shitting on somebody having a dream, but you can sign a billion-year contract as a 9 or 10 or 11 or 12-year-old, but you don't fucking read a contract for a record deal. And I'm going to say this again. How in the fuck can you copyright strike somebody on a platform when it's not your music? If you're coming in late, rewind, listen to what Mr. Anderson said. See, I used to think when Lara was saying, oh, you can use my music, it was to promote herself genuinely. And then, like free samples, right? You go to the grocery store, you get a free sample, you're like, oh, I like this. And what do? You buy it. If you get a free sample and you don't like it, then that's it. You're done. You know what I mean? But then people have the outs with each other, and you can't, oh, you use my music. I said 5 words, and you're going to fucking copyright strike them. You're abusing that system too. And I say that you, meaning in general. And let's face it, all right, we're all adults. If you really want to get deep, is anything really ours? Do we have the rights to it? It is YouTube, right? So it's good enough for us to learn about Scientology and hear all their stories, but it's not. It's good enough for that, but it's not good enough for us to talk about it or help somebody. Like how stupid is that? I don't know. I don't know. Rewind the video because unlike some people, I don't take mine down. And yeah, that's some shade and a dig. Unlike some people, I don't take my shit down. So you can rewind it, hon. And let's face it, have we seen any new CDs with new songs from Lara? No. Meghan does the same thing over and over and over and over again. It's a broken fucking record. Pursue your dreams, be good at it, but be smart about it. If you learn so much, why aren't you using your brain? You're in the moment, you're excited, oh my God, somebody's offering me a record deal or a label or whatever. Hell yeah. But you'd think if you learn your lesson, which was an unfortunate one, but it's a lesson, why haven't you, and music's your passion and this is who you are, then why haven't we heard anything new? Don't copyright strike people just because your fucking ass is in a knot. Your panties are in a wad. You guys are abusing shit. Rules for thee, but not for me. That's what you guys are doing. Whether it be the law, whether it be record deals, whether it be freedom of speech, the right to express yourself, you guys are fucking tit for tat, some of you. You're acting like a bunch of little babies. You're acting like immature, spoiled brats that are entitled. Why? Because you're in fucking Hollywood? Keep it. Hey, Babo. But here's the thing. She's no Taylor Swift. She's no one of those big stars. Okay? It's a totally different ball game. But yeah, I guess you could say that. Like, what was the other one? What's that blonde's name? Jessica Simpson, right? Well, this is why I want to know, guys. This is what I want to know. All right, let me share this again. Okay, Over the Rainbow was 2019. It's right there. But the interview with her dad, it's never mind, it's spinning. The interview with her dad, this is what I want to look at. This is what I want to know because I didn't happen to see any of the details. Let me share this. Okay, I got audio. It didn't share any of the details that I could tell. But what it did show me is a list of the names. So, you guys, the link is in the description. You have it there. The list is about the former Scientologists. So, again, it shows me that it is a Scientology production of people talking smack or truth about, the formers, but there's nobody else. And the last name on that list is Leah Remini. Okay, so it finally loaded. Hold on a second. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. I want to make sure I still have audio. Now, the formers. Okay, I still got audio, right? Let me just double check here. They finally loaded. Okay, I got audio. All right. I don't need any glitches right the fuck now. I don't I didn't look. I didn't look. This is to open your guys' eyes though. All right, so here, let me go over here. All right. So like I said, The link to this is in the description. All right. So June 14th. So that was Saturday. Okay. Phil Anderson opens up about his daughter, Lara Meghan Anderson's upbringing, her struggles after leaving the church, and how she ultimately severed ties with her entire family. However, okay, find out the truth about a rogues gallery of anti Scientologists from first-hand accounts of those who knew them best. Leah Remini, Mike Rinder, Mark and Claire Headley, Aaron Smith Levin, Tony Ortega. For those that don't know, Tony Ortega is a journalist and a writer. He used to be in the Village Voice, which was a newspaper in New York, in the Village, which is the gay area. It's very artsy and very trendy, Trey Lawn gay. Then you got Karen de la Carriere, her husband Jeffrey Augustine, Graham Barry, Alex Barnes Ross, that's the one in England, Tom DeVock, Amy Scovey, who, don't forget, was part, I think still is part of the Aftermath Foundation with Mike Rinder and all that was there. Jeffrey Hawkins, so you know Jeff from YouTube, Robert Dam, and then again Leah Remini, Aftermath, After Money. So, anti Scientology, bigotry, that's another word you hear constantly. Anti religious, Scientology Aftermath at Lara Anderson Official, hashtag family separation, and all that other stuff. Oh! And look at this here. See, this is why I love to look at shit. Holy fucking crap. Hey, Scooter Mom. Look at this shit. It's tagged at the end. Hashtag LARAFM at the lore of DOA. How in the fuck and why is he tagged in that? That whole thing was about former Scientologist. Do you guys see that shit? Look at that. Why in the fuck is he tagged at that? I told you guys I was busy doing my own thing. So I didn't get to see this. Hey, Ellie, what's up, my sister? I didn't see you, sorry. I apologize. What's everybody doing here? Mind your business. Babo, whether they broke up or not, what the fuck? I'm asking you guys a question. What in the fuck is his name doing on a list of former Scientologists? Does that not put up some kind of antenna? That could be, Chris. That could be a swipe at him, but that's some fucked up shit. Screenshot the fuck out of that if you want. Or, like I said, the videos are in the description for both Rumble and YouTube, so it's there. At the Laura DOA. What in fucking hell? All these names are formers. And there you fucking go. Jesus Christ. Hey, protesting protester, how you doing? Yeah, these are things that make you go, right? What in the fuck? Yeah, they've been doing that a long time. And the thing of it is, all these people that decided they wanted to morph into the character of DOA in itself and become loudmouth, obnoxious people while they're protesting, in the end, it's all their decisions. They want to fuck around and find out, so they did. They got to take responsibility for them damn selves. If I'm going to go to jail or prison, you best believe I will be doing it for the right reasons. I fuck around and find out. Hey, Drifter Shelley, good afternoon. Thank you for joining. Good to see you. Yeah. You want to, if I'm going to go to jail or prison again, I reiterate, it's not a good, smart idea, but it'll better be a damn good reason. And it sure as fuck ain't this. I ain't going to jail for no, I'm not going to jail just for anybody. Holy shit. We shall see. We shall see. But damn, to tag that motherfucker's name up in there, I don't get that. That makes no sense to me at all. That's probably true, Ellie, but the thing of it is, then why is it only out of all the protesters one name? One name. Why his? I mean, Chris could be right, you know? But tell me what you guys think of that. Only DOA's shit was tagged. Everybody else is formers. That don't make no sense. There are a lot of people that protest and against Scientology, and they're not friendly or hanging out with Scott anymore, or even acquaintances. They just parted their ways. And speaking of, where the fuck is Serge at? Where's he been at? Well, that's a good point. I didn't hear Serge at the protest yesterday. Was he there? Did him and Michael show up, or did they like decide not to show up? Oh, really? Huh. I guess they don't know about me. How you doing? Huh. What in the fuck? I mean, please, guys, put your input in on this. I'm loving the participation. I think it's great. So have at it. I'm not afraid. Hell no. What do I got to be afraid of? I mean, it's bullshit. So, Scooter, are you saying that Serge didn't show up? Is I just want to make sure I'm understanding you correctly. Oh, that's a good. Okay, so you see it up there on the screen what Ellie just said. Guys, chime in. Have at it, please and thank you. I love, love, love the conversation. He's a loose, but and I'm not saying it bad. I'm just saying he's a loose cannon with or without her. But he's been fucking ranting his ass off. Yeah, right. Okay, so Drifter Shelley says, I think Scientology did this now because of Father's Day permit. Yeah, and the thing of it is, though, again, like I told you guys, I didn't watch this shit. So for him, the only non-Scientologist to be around and tag him, and the second thing was, when was that interview done with Phil Anderson? I said it. The timing was ironic. That video came up, and all the people that showed up. And by the way, if you guys were in the chat, I did catch a glimpse of it, and I think it was a really shitty comment, unless I'm taking it wrong, because I'm woman enough to say if I got it wrong. I think it's a really shitty thing to say. Oh, there's I see there's at least a baker's dozen there. Like, to me, I kind of found that insulting, but that was just me. Thank you, Scooter, chat mama. Okay, thank you. Well, there's no doubt they released it, but when was it made? That's I'm sorry if I wasn't clear. My point is, when was that video made? Because there are older people that carry themselves very well and look very good for their age. They actually look way younger than their age. So, was this video pulled out from when 2019? Okay. Let me go back and share this with you guys. See, Over the Rainbow was done in 2019. So, was that video that we saw of Mr. Anderson, Mr. Phil Anderson, Meghan's father, was that done prior to Over the Rainbow? After Over the Rainbow? 6 years ago? Or was it done recently? Retaliation. And then, okay, I'm reading the chat. So, one for retaliation, one says when she was declared, in her opinion. No, it was Babbo. No, that wasn't the Wizzy interview. Mm-mm. 2019, 2020. And like I said, it's a known joke that those that are following the Scientology protests that, oh, look at them, they have the Xenu eyes, and it's like they don't blink. But Mr. Anderson, he looked pretty like tired, but normal to me. I mean, he didn't look like he was all zooted out on Scientology and shit. He thought that it was a very recent video done just because of the protests yesterday. Yeah, I mean, they have all the best equipment. Those that have watched Claire and Mark and Claire Headley, I mean, Mark was in the studio all the time up there at Gold Base in Golden Air Productions, and he had said how much of the best equipment they had. I mean, we've heard them say, "Oh, Scientology says there's billions of us or millions of us," but the wide angle lenses, the way they make it look like there's a huge crowd, so it looks like there's 10,000 people, but they're only like 1,500. So who's to say? Truthfully, none of these Scientos or X's can be trusted to tell the truth. Lying is natural for them. Exactly. Great point, Drifter Shelley. I had brought that up earlier. They told us how many times they were trained to lie. So how the fuck do we know when they're telling the truth? Somebody had asked me a while ago. They said, how come Tori Magoo is the only one or one of the very few that has her declaration letter, her goldenrod paper? And I said to them that because, for me, in my opinion, that is proof right there, because you always see Tori has it laminated, right? That goes to show that there is or was such a thing as a declared suppressive person. So if they hand out, say for example, like well, I don't want to use her. Say, for example, I don't know, whatever name you want to pick out of a book, right? Just got kicked out like a year ago. Are they going to get a declaration letter, declared an SP letter like Tories got? No, because that'll be proof that that rule is true. And it's been argued that Scientology does not declare you a suppressive person. They do. So it's like, what the fuck is the truth? It's not that long ago, no, but in the video earlier, it said Over the Rainbow was in 2019. Lara had said her father had been in the RPF for 8 years. When Lara claimed to see her father at the Shrine Auditorium New Year's Eve, that was only what? A year ago? Almost 2 years ago this New Year's Eve. So how much longer is he in the RPF? And again, you never really hear her talking about a mom and crying for her mother, except when she brags like, oh, my mother's still at Gold Base. And well, if you are disowned from your family, from Scientology, then how the hell do you know where your parents are at? How do you know that your father's still at Big Blue? How do you know your mother's at Gold Base? Exactly. Yes, they do, Scooter, Chat Mama. They do. It's not that, and you're right, it's not that long ago, but at the same time, people age differently. I mean, if that video we just watched is a recent video, he looks pretty good. He doesn't look like he's beaten down. He looks tired, but he doesn't look like he's, you know, a toothpick. He doesn't look like he's being starved. He looks pretty healthy to me. But I just wanted to focus on since eh, since Lara has been said to be the rock star of it all. I beg to differ. Yeah, they do exist, Ellie. But I think when it came to just like anything else, whether it's a corporation or Scientology, uh, you know, PR is important and they don't need any negative light shed on them. A lot of them, but not all of them. I mean, if again, I want to keep this about Lara because her behavior to me, and maybe you guys have thought it and not said it out loud or in somebody's chat. I don't give a shit if she was on the rag. Who the fuck is she to talk to Audit LA like that? And then to fucking shame her and guilt her, like, and manipulate her. If you saw the video of how Lara was talking to Audit LA, she overtalked her. She kept fucking making it about her. Selfish. Why are people protecting that fucker? Why? Why? Women can be just as evil and guilty at shit as just as much as men can. Why are people protecting her? Why is she so, oh, Lara? That excuses her behavior to talk to Audit LA. And let me tell you something. I called it out, and I'm sure a lot of you guys did too. Audit LA has been there for a long time, and she is good at what she does as far as attending the meetings, speaking at the meetings, the paperwork. Same with Scooter Mom, right? Scooter Mom has that skill with the paperwork. I do not have that skill. I hate paperwork. I think it sucks ass. I hate it. It's fucking annoying as shit. Because they have to use big words like lawyers, right? Everything is a lawyer word. Why can't you just say it in pure English so everybody understands? Audit LA has been there for a long time. And because everybody was hanging out with the popular kids, she was swept under the rug. And Scott would all call everybody, oh, look, the A team got together. Well, I'll tell you what, you sure weren't dogging them when the popular kids dumped your fucking ass. And then all of a sudden, you did the same thing. You boosted them up. Oh, you guys are great. You're a hero. Oh, I couldn't have done it without you. This is not the fucking Academy Awards, you fat fuck. Well, take credit anyway. I agree, Drifter Shelley. It was an absolutely disgusting one sided conversation. It was horrible. It was absolutely atrocious. And I, for one, don't even understand if Valerie Haney and Lara are so tight. Not even Valerie stepped in as if to say, you need to fucking watch your mouth or calm down or, don't, especially those who fucking promote women, women's rights, or we should lift each other up, not tear each other down. Us women need to stick together. Where the fuck did that? What happened to that shit? That shit went out the fucking window. And you can't tell me it wasn't Valerie's place because I mean, how many times you've seen them in Vegas? They're hanging out. They're best friends. You don't step in and say you're out of line. And if you don't want to embarrass Lara on a live stream, at least like tell her to mute a second and call her over and be like, you need to chill the fuck out. If that was my live stream with Order LA, I would have never let that bitch the fuck on. I would have told her, go fuck yourself. You want to talk to me, you know where to find me. Well, I know the difference, Scooter Chat Mama. I'm just upset. So, like, meaning pissed off. Trust me, I know the difference between you two. But what I was saying about you, Scooter, is that you have that intelligence. I know the difference between you two, though. Believe me. At this point, I don't care about the X's. I want to stop people from joining. There you go. I please take this to heart. Whether you've been protesting Scientology for a while or if you're thinking of starting. It doesn't matter if you do it through paperwork or protesting or both. Look up for yourselves the Freedom of Religion Act. Look at it, study it, then take what we have been told about all the abuses, the sexual assaults, the rapes, everything on the children and minors, men and women and children. Take that information and use it. Use it wisely. Use it intelligently. If somebody has a religion where they pray to a head of lettuce and call it Ralph, that's their freedom of religion. That does not entitle them when a child or a minor gets sexually assaulted or raped and they wish them off somewhere across state lines or to another country. That is not under the Freedom of Religion Act. Yeah, no, I hear you, Ellie. I hear you. Well, the verbiage, if you heard the verbiage, it was an official email, official communication. So it was a Scientology thing. It wasn't like, hey, Dad, I'm out. And working with elected representatives against Scientology. Yeah. See, if that is your strength and your passion, okay, or if it's something you're interested in, then by all means go for it. Is it copper tone? Hey, Cece, welcome in. What's up? Good evening to you. Oh shit. Is it copper tone? Oh god. Excuse me. Hold on a second, guys. I'm glad you like the copper tone joke. It's, hey, smart ass. Ellie. Hey, T Gun, welcome in. Thank you. Good to see you on. Uh-oh. You guys are fucking with me. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Bro.
Take out the papers and the trash, or you don't get no spending cash. If you don't scrub that kitchen floor, you ain't gonna rock and roll no more. Yakety yak!
Don't talk back.
Just finish cleaning up your room. Let's see that dust fly with that broom. Get all that garbage out of sight, or you don't go out Friday night. Yakety yak!
Don't talk back.
You just put on your coat and hat and walk yourself to the laundromat. And when you finish doing, take out the papers and the trash, or you don't get no spending cash. If you don't scrub that kitchen floor, you ain't gonna rock and roll no more. Yakety
Don't smoke crack.
yak!
Don't talk back.
Just finish cleaning up your room. Let's see that dust fly with that broom. Get all that garbage out of sight, or you don't go out Friday night. Yakety yak!
Don't smoke crack.
Don't talk back.
You just put on your coat and hat and walk yourself to the laundromat. And when you finish doing,
Bring in a dog and put out the cat. Yakety yak. Don't smoke crack. I wish that little bit would have finished on this song. I'm still learning. And I have no teacher. At the end of it, it would have been perfect combination between her and this shit with fat ass. Yakety yak, don't smoke crack. And when you finish doing that, bring in the dog and put out the cat. And when I said yakety yak, don't smoke crack, that is educational purposes. Don't do drugs, okay? Don't do drugs, okay? Push the funny button, meow. Thank you, Drifter. Oh shit! Getting salad, meow, Ellie. Yeah, you ain't lying, Drifter. I'm saying. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Oh my god. Too funny. Yeah. I mean, either the 12 step or something. But it's common sense, not just religion. Do unto others. Drifter. Drifter. I had already told somebody in my chat, keep it on topic. Normally, I don't mind. Any other time, it's all open. I'm trying not to laugh, damn it. I'm trying to be serious, okay? I said keep it on topic to the other person in my chat because we're talking about Meghan. Don't do drugs, okay? Oh, you're trying to get me in trouble. God damn it. Sorry. All right, you know what? Because not too many of you guys seen this shit. All right, let me see here. For those that have seen it, kale. And then here's this one. And then there's this one. Now, I have, to those that don't know, now you don't got to go to the corner. Now, to those that have not seen this or saw my community post, this feline is taking back their power. They are no longer the victim. See, this is what not being a victim looks like, people. Right there. This is a pussy cat who is taking back their power. They're taking back their control. They're singing, "We're not going to take it anymore." Right there. Oh, fuck it. Why not? All right.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Eat the cat. 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 They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. People on television.
Let me just say here, this is
The people on television said my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
But the
television.
people on
I'm taking it from
television
the
said
city
the
manager.
dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Are you happy now? Are you happy now? Are you happy now? Damn you! T-Gun, you still here? Riddle, you still here? I'm telling you, that pussycat took its power back. That's the way you go from a victim to a leader. You take your shit back. And by the way, Riddle was always up for it. Hashtag save Jazzy. So meow. So, oh my god. So to the person that I said earlier in my chat, well, we're staying on topic, and they knew I didn't mean it in a nasty way. We're getting towards the end of it, so now we can fuck around and find out. Shut up, Ellie. You killed me. Hold on a minute. Ellie, that's not nice. It's not nice. You no nicer to me. That's a no nicer lady. Oh shit. So for those that were confused, maybe today enlightened you a little bit. Maybe you'll have a different thought on it. I am no way, shape, or form influencing anybody's thought or decision. I'm just sick of the shit. She is protected for whatever fucking reason I don't know. Oh yeah, Riddle's post touch the ant. I love that too. Hey T Gun. Yeah, that post of Riddles is awesome as hell. Touch the ant is really great. Oh god. But like I said, her behavior is fucked. There are a lot of people's behaviors fucked up. We're not being petty. We're not fucking, getting into like nitpicking. This is a fact. It's not a one-off. This shit is going on and on and on and on and on. I mean, not that long ago, Rib Guy was in Lara's chat and she's told him, go fuck yourself. But again, the whole thing to me for the Father's Day, I hoping that it was whatever was done was accomplished and it was successful. Whether there were 3 people there, 13 or 1,300 people there. But the way I look at it, maybe it's not mature, but the way I look at it, it was a big fuck you middle finger to DOA. I don't give a shit if Mother Teresa was at that event. It was a big fuck you to DOA that he wasn't not even invited to the party. He wasn't allowed at the party. Everybody, Cinderella and her stepsisters were at the ball, but not Scott. Nope. No invitation. Pour me another drink. All right. You guys are twisting my arm. Before I fucking do what I'm going to do any of yous have anything else to say? If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the thumbs up and make sure you're following and are subscribed to me. It's always appreciated. Oh, Cinderella. Everybody's going to the ball but me, fuckers. Oh, Chris, don't fucking start. Jesus Christ. All right, you guys are going to get me the fucking trouble. So, with that being said, make sure you hit my links in the chat that are pinned, please, and thank you. All right? It's always appreciated, always needed. I'm going to play you fuckers out. And I want you to remember to be blessed and stay blessed. Shut up, Chris. And if you can't be good at it. I'll see you next time.
Hey man, you ever work for DOA?
Way down in old Vancouver town, I didn't have a dollar to lay on down. In an old man Joyce that drove my way. Said,
Hey, you want to drum for DOA?
it was DOA. It was DOA. My back still aches when I hear that name.
I'll only give you $5 a day, but if you're any good, you get a raise in pay. Your bed's already on the floor of the van. You need to take a piss, just grab a beer can.
It was DOA. It was DOA. My back still aches when I hear that name.
The tour started in Washington, with DC. It was gonna be fun. When the van broke down on the side of the road, they left me there to sleep alone.
It was DOA. It was DOA. My back still aches when I hear that name.
Alright, started at the very first show. Police and tear gas at the side of the road. We left really quick, we made a run, but on the county lines, the cops pulled their guns.
DOA. DOA. It was DOA. DOA. My back still aches when I hear that name.
I didn't know the songs very well. When I played it wrong, Joe gave me hell. I kept on playing them way too fast.
You're gonna get a kick in the ass. DOA. It was DOA. My back still aches when I hear that name.
At the last show, skinhead started a fight with a broken hand. I had to play that night. Play your parts right or you get no pay for sitting there picking at your nose all working for DOA. My back still aches when I hear that name. It was DOA.